Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be trying to fix controller drift on a PlayStation controller, which I have not done before, and this is going to be a very interesting and experimental video. Hopefully I am able to fix it, but if not, I will probably re-record this trying to figure out what's wrong. But for now, I thought I might as well take a crack at it on camera and see what is wrong on the inside. Jeez, it's hard to get out. Let's see. You're going to need mostly just a small Phillips head. One thing, this is actually a limited edition controller, and the only reason I have it is because it has terrible drift, and that's how I managed to acquire it. It does not seem to have been opened before, but if so, that would actually suck. Because, I mean, I've noticed no other faults other than the drift, and I simply cannot play with this kind of drift that this controller has. Not as bad as the Xbox One, but definitely not something fun to try and play with. So I'm going to try to use this as a screw holder, which I always recommend you do. There should be 4 screws on the back. You may hear some Call of Duty World War II music in the background. It is actually free for this month of June. And I have been quite enjoying it. So I actually do have it running, and I really want to be able to use this Days of Play controller while playing. But that's nearly impossible to do with a controller of this state. These are some dirty screws, I gotta say. They did not take care of this controller, which honestly sucks. But what are you gonna do when you're able to find a way to get one of these secondhand for practically nothing? So, you know, it's still in pretty good condition. Drop the screwdriver. One thing I always have problems with is the triggers. When I open these, I have horrible problems with them in the past. And it actually has been a while since I've opened one of these up. But let's just see what happens. I do believe I've gotten all of the screws, so I really should just take something flat and go around the edges. Very stuck on there. Try to get pry tool. Not required, but it is nice to have when trying to open something like this. Really, like I said, anything flat could work for this. It's just, this controller has a lot of grime. Oh gosh. Horrible amount. Jeez, man. That's bad. You also may be hearing music in the background. Please try your best to ignore that. I really do not want to break this controller. But it is actually stuck pretty well on there. There it is. I'm going to pop some of this off. It's really stuck there, actually. It's horrible. Like, this tool is actually bending under it. I have no clue. I know it's not water damage. Or I'm at least hoping that it's not. It shows no clear indication that anything has been spilled. But it is very stuck together through this dirt stuff. Whew! I always recommend do not try to be too rough with your controllers, because it would suck if you broke your controller in this process, and I would not want to feel responsible for any broken or damaged PlayStation controllers. Jeez, man. By the way, your controller should not have to be like this, by the way. Oh, that's gonna need a thorough clean. Oh my gosh. I have never experienced something that terrible in my life inside of a console, and I've opened many controllers, even including PlayStation controllers. But my lord, was that terrible. We do have a Phillips head under here that I do have to unscrew. Dude. I've never really seen the inside of a PlayStation controller look like this. I'm actually quite nervous to open this up. Like, this is crazy. Okay, so the whole thing does get removed. I was about to say ejected, which is sort of the same thing for what just happened there. Problem is, I do not know how to remove these ribbon cables, and I am way too afraid to try. Kind of just have to remove the whole thing at this point. I don't think PlayStation was really expecting anyone to meddle with their controllers. Okay. Okay, I actually do have to do something. Okay, so it is this joystick that I'm going to be working with. I do not want to solder a new thing on, but honestly, sometimes it does have to come down to that, but I'm hoping that it does not, because I'd rather just swap the internals, which I've also had previous issues with. I usually just try to scrape anything that was on here off, because using compressed air could help. Remember, this is very experimental. I've only worked with previous generation PlayStation controllers, and for me this is a whole new experience, so let's hope I get it right on first try. If not, I will probably re-upload. There is a bit of grime under here, jeez. Maybe causing the amounts of drift. Okay, there's a bit of pet hair, I believe, right here. That also could be causing it. There's a number of things that could be causing this, because this is an actually very dirty controller that I've had gotten. So I'm just gonna hope that really helped it and kind of put it in. It does feel rather sticky under here, but I would not think that it is damage of any liquid form. I'm gonna check under here, of course, make sure that nothing crazy is happening, and I'm gonna attempt to put this controller back together and see if any of this cleaning may have been a result that we were looking for. Hoping that none of the buttons came out. Thank the Lord. Yeah, this is actually one of the newest models of PlayStation controller, because it actually came with last year's Days of Play console, and it honestly is surprising me that it has already began controller drift on here. But let's hope it was just a minor cleaning issue that we can very easily manipulate here. And if not, that will be very upsetting. I don't even think I would be able to, oh, I do have to push this in. There it is. Gotta push it in there. I'm hoping the camera is getting everything. Yeah, I'm just recommending a thorough clean of your controller, because PlayStation controllers, there is no underlying issue. Like the Xbox controller, everyone has this one issue with one specific part that everyone knows how to clean. But PlayStation controllers, I've personally never received controller drift. This is actually a friend's. So I will go grab a quick wipe and try and clean this thing back to pristine condition. I will be right back. I managed to grab some normal house wipes that I'm going to try and clean everything up with. I'm going to deal with the outer shell afterwards, but it's more so this kind of problem. I'm going to try and wipe everything down. What I usually do if it's in between crevices and you don't want to open up your console to clean the controller or console, you can just put a screwdriver under a wipe and just kind of get under there. But for me, since I already have it open, I thought might as well try and clean this beauty of a controller. Absolutely love this thing. And it will most likely become one of my two main controllers, which I'll show you in a sec. My other one that I've had for a couple of years now, that is actually in pristine condition since I bought it. And I've actually went through a fair amount of rage with that controller, and it's still in almost pristine condition. Like, even has all of its stickers and everything. I do like to keep my stuff rather tidy. But either way, if you're not really interested in cleaning your controller off, you think yours is nice and clean already, well, then you can really just skip this part of the video, because I just want to show you kind of a bit of a transformation of what it would look like after you're done cleaning, especially with a Days of Play controller. I've been waiting a long time to have one of these, and yeah. So I'm going to have to excuse myself very quickly. Be right back. Sorry for that quick interruption. I do normally warn my viewers beforehand of background noise, and I often do get called out of my room to help with stuff. Very often. So yeah. I probably will do a more thorough wipe on the outside than this, but I truly just want to get this controller back together, because ruining this would be a horrid mistake. I will probably make another video after this, not right now of course, but on the PlayStation. Whoa! 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 That's how you know this has been through a heck of a lot, because a piece was so fragile that I even wiped it and it came off. And luckily it was nothing too severe. You really gotta watch out for those things. I was not expecting something of that caliber to happen. But let's just hope it was a one-time thing. Okay. I will show you guys how to reassemble the controller, because some people do have issues with this part, and not a lot of YouTubers really show this part of putting it back together or cleaning the technology, I'll just say, because there are many types of videos out there, and just putting it in one category would do it an injustice. And now, basically, you're just going to have to grab your 4 screws, which I will give a quick wipe, because dear lord, are these in terrible condition. But wiping usually does help out, because I do have my Game Boy collection that I've wiped down like this, and it looks pretty good. But yeah, sometimes putting these back. Dear lord, man. I am having big issues with these screws right now. Okay. I will give you guys a quick update on a few things I'm going to be doing in the future. I've ordered a Game Boy Advance SP I'm going to be taking a look at and hopefully restoring. As well as, I'll show you the next controller I'm going to be working with in a second. And I will unpause it when this is all back together, because I'm having issues with background noise. Okay, you're going to want to make sure those screws are in nice and tight. Now I'm just going to give it a quick wipe, because it really needs one. Like all over. I just want this thing to look as good as possible, because it had a fair amount of dirt when I had started, and now I just want to make it look as good as possible. Some things like scratches will not be able to come out, but that is something I'm willing to take to have a functional PlayStation 4 controller that is exclusive like this one. I very much like the scheme of it all. And now we're going to test it. Dear Lord. There it is. Now we're going to take a quick test in-game. So, okay, since it does not have a sort of thing like Xbox and Nintendo have, we are going to be testing it actually like in-game. Okay, that's a bit odd. Okay, I did have a bit of an issue sprinting before, so yeah, I gotta say it is a bit nicer now. But yeah, I'd say this is more of a pass-fail, and it's really more of a cleaning type of thing than an actual fix, and hopefully I will create a video that, like, see, this issue, I feel like it's not really drift, it's more so a problem with the joystick itself. So I'll have to look into it, and I hope you guys stuck around to the end and would consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. I am sorry about this video. I'll see you guys later.